Rookie Kaiir Elam possesses the skills and traits that fit heavy man coverage defenses, which the Bills are not. The Bills have only asked Elam to play man coverage 24.3% of the snaps through the first 6 weeks. Throughout his career, he's been the most comfortable in man coverage, on an island with very little help. And that's because he has the size and speed to match up with just about any receiver. Receivers who win with speed, footwork, or even size. While man coverage is his strength, he's had a rocky start, and he's been overly critical of himself during those struggles. Elam has struggled to adjust to the pace and change of direction of wide receivers. It has caused him to be a little too handsy, something that has carried over from training camp, when the coaching staff routinely put MMA gloves on him to prevent him from grabbing receivers' jerseys. Even a handful of plays where he's been in receivers' pockets, his adversaries have been able to create separation at the moment of truth. We saw that several times in Week 5 against the Steelers. But let's keep in mind Deontay Johnson and George Pickens are also exceptional receivers. When in man coverage, he's been targeted 6 times and allowed 5 receptions for 41 yards and 1 touchdown. But you can see that on those handful of plays, he was in very good position. He just needs to play a little more physical at the top of routes and play the ball at the catch point. He's taken away options early in plays when in man coverage more than he's surrendered. So his ability to shadow receivers doesn't worry me, even if he's had some early season struggles in those situations. But fans want to know how he's playing in the Bills' patented zone-heavy defense. The simple answer is, he's playing remarkably well. So let's dive in. Elam has played a lot more discipline in zone coverage than what I saw from him at the University of Florida. One of the minor critiques I had when scouting him were his struggles in spacing route combinations and reading high to low. And I believe that he needs to work on playing high to low when he's in a too deep coverage and teams are trying to read him. There are times where he will play too low and allow the deeper option to sneak behind him. And that goes completely against the philosophy of the Bills. He could get away with it a lot more in college because he could rely on his athleticism to get back into the play. But receivers and quarterbacks at the NFL level are just too good. Elam has adjusted. He's using his hands to disrupt receivers, staying connected when possible, and even carrying primary targets vertically through his zone while keeping his eyes on the quarterback. Patience is crucial in these situations. He and the quarterback are often playing chicken. The quarterback is waiting for Elam to hesitate and play the shorter route so they can get the explosive behind him. Elam is waiting for the quarterback to decide to take what the defense is giving him by throwing the shorter route, at which time the defense will rally and tackle. That's the entire philosophy of the Leslie Frazier defense. On both of Elam's interceptions this year, the defense had zone coverage called. With 23 seconds left in the half against the Steelers, Elam was in off coverage. Post-snap, he squeezed the receiver's release. His angle choked off the outside release, so the receiver stemmed inside to maintain speed on the route. Elam then opened his hips and began to play with zone eyes. He got his eyes on the quarterback, but more importantly, any receiver that could come into his zone. Elam quickly recognized there weren't any, so he immediately bailed deep into his zone. The receiver was still working back to his original route stem, so Elam had the speed and angle to undercut the throw by Kenny Pickett for the interception. Tremendous situational and route awareness by Elam. Heading into their Week 6 matchup against the Chiefs, Elam made it clear that Mahomes' ability to extend plays has made their offense
being able to scramble and make plays in a situation where most quarterbacks will panic.
But on his interception in the red zone, it was Elam who didn't panic. It's 3rd and 9, and the Bills have cover 2 called. On the snap, Elam hinges and bails to his zone. Von Miller used a power move to collapse the left side of the pocket. This flushed Mahomes to his right and into scramble drill mode. This is when Mahomes is a magician. Defensive backs are taught to plaster. While it was zone coverage, now they must find the nearest threat as it turns to man-to-man coverage. Receivers also have general rules. With Mahomes scrambling towards wide receiver Sky Moore, he is supposed to go deep, but break it off because Elam is over the top. Elam got his hands on Moore and eyes on Mahomes. The rookie corner showed tremendous poise. He didn't drop his man to contain Mahomes. He trusted that his teammates would get back into the play, so he stuck to his man. Elam stayed connected to Moore the entire time. The scramble drill route by the receiver brought Elam closer to the intended target in the back of the end zone. So as Mahomes attempted to float it, Elam peeled off and used his length to high point the ball for the timely interception. This play is a great example of the pass rush and coverage complementing each other. The pass rush by Miller flushed Mahomes out of the pocket while Elam covered down on the receiver and showed great awareness. Elam's discipline never wavered, and it paid off in the end. Leslie Frazier always reiterates that as a corner in this league, you're going to give up receptions, and Elam has. He's been targeted 13 times in zone coverage, third most on the team through 7 games. The former Florida Gator has surrendered 11 receptions for 123 yards in those situations. But those numbers lack context. When you play zone coverage 59.1% of the time like Elam has, sometimes the coverage scheme is the target, not the player. Bills fans should realize that context because it's something we've preached for years now with Frazier as a defensive coordinator. Sometimes the areas of weaknesses in the Bills' cover 2 and cover 4 variations are what quarterbacks are attacking. And most of the time, these passes are underneath the outside corners, but the reception is charged to guys like Elam. The play call often determines how far off Elam plays, which will lead to easy pass completions in front of him. Elam has admitted that he wishes he could have broken on the ball quicker against the Steelers. Specifically, the quarters coverage calls in which the offense will attack the gray area outside between Taron Johnson and Elam. And as his confidence in reading route combinations from off-zone alignments grows, so will his reaction time. At this point, the most glaring weakness to his game, which could create issues down the road, is how he routinely allows receivers to get into his blind spots. It's mostly due to his technique when he is bailing in zone coverage. Sometimes during his bail, his angle is off. At times, he will bail vertically, but get out-leveraged horizontally by targets who are expanding, so it can get him turned around. But it also occurs when receivers are pushing vertically. He's still working on keeping his eyes on the quarterback and the receiver in his peripheral. He struggles to slowly squeeze the receiver as they push downfield, because you have to remember, all zone coverages essentially turn into man coverage. So you will see receivers get into his blind spot, forcing Elam to break his bail technique and turn around to locate the receiver. Or receivers will work into the blind spot and snap routes off with an enormous amount of separation. Elam's technique will absolutely progress the more reps he gets in these zone coverage situations. And given how quick of a study he's been thus far, fans shouldn't worry. In college, Elam struggled with fitting up ball carriers properly, then wrapping them up. He used the heat-seeking missile approach and often failed to incorporate his arms into his tackling checklist. Throwing your body or lunging at the legs of a defender is a low percentage tackle and increases the likelihood of injury. The Bills saw that firsthand with Taron Johnson. But he's been on the plus side through 7 games. Elam is 5th on the team in solo tackles, 1 tackle behind Damar Hamlin. Tackling has been crucial to limiting big plays, given how often the ball has come his way in the run and pass game. He's missed 5 tackles and is 0.5 of a point behind Jordan Poyer's missed tackle rate. But given the situations offenses have put him in as a run defender, Elam has passed with flying colors. He has shown the willingness to fly downhill and make the tackle on guys like Derrick Henry and Najee Harris, and has looked technically sound doing it. And these are dual run plays, meant to get those talented backs one-on-one with corners. As is often the case, consistency is the key, and Elam can still improve on that. But what I didn't expect was for that consistency to come in zone coverage. Elam has adjusted his game to the Bills' zone-heavy scheme, but his coverage skills in man coverage have also helped Leslie Frazier play man coverage in certain situations, but also against certain teams, such as the Week 6 matchup versus the Chiefs, where Elam was in man coverage 50% of the snaps. This allowed Frazier to play matchup football when needed. Elam's mental toughness has been tested early in his career, and that growth will go a long way. Understanding that in this defense and in this league, you're going to give up receptions has been a tough pill to swallow for Elam, but that growth and confidence are evident each week, and they will continue to fuel Elam into more of a playmaker as the season continues. Thanks for tuning in to this breakdown. If you guys appreciated that breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the Cover One YouTube channel. But more importantly, get to the cover1.football website to become an insider. If you sign up for our One Pass subscription on the cover1.football website, you're going to get a lot of content, behind the scenes type content, scheme and player breakdowns, scouting reports. You're going to have access to the Slack channel, our Cover One community, where we talk football all day, every day. And you're getting access to our contributors. You're able to engage with them on a daily basis all day And there's a lot of things that we're going to be putting out to our insiders throughout the season. So if you appreciated this content, this breakdown, you're going to get even more as an insider. So make your play for $57 for the year for all of the content that we provide to our insiders. And thank you again for joining me in the film room.